Unemployed? Stop begging for a job to survive and face the fact you've failed yourself. Are you unemployed? Stop begging for a job to survive and face the fact you failed yourself. Yes, you are the cause of your own demise, because you have failed to internalize the truth about your situation and circumstances. The employers owe you nothing. In fact, taking money from them puts you in the same position as the addict or prostitute. The drug dealer or pimp will never do anything to promote its captive's interests, and the employers, large, small, or in between, subscribe to the same baser principles. They are greedy, self-centered, self-serving, ruthless, and can never ever be trusted. Stop and really think for a moment. Everything they do is directly or indirectly related to their ultimate goal. That is, they get more and more from you without your getting more and more. The haves have evolved from slavery, forced labor, and indentured service to employment. Employment is defined as an instance of such activity, and employee is defined as one taking work from another, usually for wages or salary, and in a position below the executive level. Notice the word you just read, instance, which means an infinitesimal space of time or a point in time separating two states like employed and unemployed, a temporary point in time. Then notice another word you just read, salary. This word evolved quite naturally to find a way to get more of us to do more and more and be paid less and less. Salary rather smartly avoids the minimum wage, while it de facto partially re-indentures the employee, us. Working for someone or any entity, one must know that we will never truly be paid what our labor is worth, yet we agree to this arrangement because we need a source of revenue for support, in order to survive reasonably or even unreasonably. We also know that employment is by nature temporary, but our nature is to plan as though it is permanent, or at least will run for a long period of time, defying logic. Once employed, we are trapped, because we have essentially agreed to sacrifice a part of our limited life span and even our most precious gift, our health, in many circumstances. Life doesn't have to be this way, and the alternative is within us all, where it always has been, if we allow ourselves to think outside the box. This box that has been intentionally constructed for us and is made to suppress, deaden, and even to kill any hopes or dreams we have of our own self-sufficiency, as well as mortgage our obvious God-given abilities. Our training begins early in life, when we are made to conform in order, make us malleable and controllable, the same way a pack horse or mule is trained by rewards and punishment. But in our case, the ropes, bridles, whips, and saddles are formal education and socialization. We by and large are educated to work for others and not to have others work for us or to work for ourselves. The people that are the heads of industry, those in power, as well as the wealthy, are no different than you or I. The difference is how they have been groomed, educated, and cultivated. From the very beginning they are told, indoctrinated, encouraged, and automatically expected to take up positions of power, influence, and entrepreneurship. Of course, they are giving all the tools, education, and access to the contacts to make this happen. We the masses are not. In fact, we are blocked, misdirected, discredited, and denied even elementary access to the same progressive paths they take for granted. We are discouraged from even thinking that we can attain our true potential from our very first days in school. The school system is predicated upon turning out worker bees, or at least the part of school system we are normally exposed to. Simultaneously, we are supporting what I call a shadow school system that exists in this country and many others, dedicated to properly educating the elite to take up the reins of power, wealth, and ownership at public expense. Need I say that admittance is strictly controlled and definitely extends right through all paths of higher education. For example, in college or university, when you start, there are the usual core requirements for a new freshman. However, look at what these courses are. Things like the arts, biology, accounting, etc. No one takes you into a room and says, let me instruct you on the basics of starting your own business right now so you can get it running ASAP and fine-tune it over the next 4 years. No one says, come sit in on this large corporation's board meeting so you can learn the procedures, make contacts, understand how the corporation runs, makes a profit, and operates politically. No one advises you to open a commodities futures account immediately and learn to paper trade until you can effectively use small amounts of money to make really big money. No one tells you how to buy and sell and control valuable real estate using nominal amounts of cash. New students are never given the tools they really need to be in charge of their own futures or how to properly chart a course through life the way children of the haves are. The have-nots are taught to conform as worker bees, take what they are given, accept it their lot in life, and learn to submit to the others in control. Unfortunately, engineered infectious, pervasive, small thinking makes sure the have-nots become the victims of an educational system under the haves' control. What does this mean for us? First, it means we need to recover from our mutual miseducation, because this is what is holding us back. We should not expect to get a fair shake from anyone offering us a job. The job, if we must take it, should only be a means to an end, being our goal of self-employment and finally true independence. This realization will do the following: 1. Rid us of any non-realist expectations from any employer. 2. Crush all mislaid loyalty based upon promises and enticements we are offered. 3. Allow us to invest in ourselves instead of an employer that can renege on any promise, be it written or oral. 4. Help us to use our free time to plan for our independence rather than doing overtime or wasting time on pointless employment. 5. Help us to overcome our fear of the unknown by preparing us to live without a weekly paycheck, because this is the very essence of the weapon they hold over us, the threat of poverty. 6. Believe in ourselves and our own ability to create work and opportunity for ourselves. 7. To realize that we must follow our own path no matter what others are doing, because if we follow the crowd we will get the same results, and this serves the haves, not us. 8. Overcome our fear of the pink slip, layoff, downsize, closing, dismissal, or being fired. 9. Last of all, gaining the fortitude to make disciplinary action threats, write-ups, or plain workplace politics irrelevant. My message to those that are seeking higher education to overcome these turbulent times is this: yes, some forms of education give you an advantage, but be sure, absolutely sure, it is knowledge you can use for yourself to start your own business, and you have a definite plan to do so immediately. One must understand the business and financial downturn is all man-made, then hyped, packaged, and sold to us in the mainstream media controlled by the haves. The wealthy and those at the top of the economic food chain are not suffering. In fact, they are benefiting like never before, or maybe at very least, since the Great Depression. Look at what they are getting out of all this fear, terror, and uncertainty they have created. People that normally would be going to their employer hat in hand begging for a raise they more than deserve, are now so afraid they are not asking. In many cases, people are willing to settle for just being employed, and often for less money and benefits. Second, they have weakened the unions and are constructively dissipating their power, while decimating their ranks. Next, they are forcing new graduates to take whatever they will give them and work as pawns, scabs, to displace older, more experienced, more expensive workers. Note, many times this will happen under semantically guise of being offered a job as a contractor, not direct employee. These scare tactics are part of a strategic plan to remove workers that are considered obsolete or redundant, and they know quite well the new graduates come to work for them for less and hawked to the gills with loans to pay back. These loans are the hook they need to ensure compliance, no matter how they use you. Loans bring up the next subject, or haven't you noticed, the technical schools, universities, colleges, and training organizations are advertising themselves and pressing hard to get more students because they know there is an air of desperation afoot and they must get their unfair share from those that can least afford it. This is all a stinking bill of goods, because the reality is the graduates now are by and large taking jobs below their station if jobs are available. Many graduates are continuing to work their low-pay subsistence jobs, or returns home to live with family because they can't afford to be independent. Graduates are now swelling the ranks of the working poor. Everyone is being told that more education or training is the answer or will give you an advantage over other potential hires. Unfortunately, this isn't exactly true. A definition of insanity is to repeat the same behavior again and again and expect a different result. The point of reality is, if you do what everyone else is doing, you will get the same result. Read more, view author profile.